Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon and good evening to those joining me from all corners of the globe today. I hope we're all ready for a fantastic weekend. Let's go ahead and get started right away here. Today I want to talk to you guys about how to effectively integrate accelerated orthodontics in a way that not only improves overall patient experience, but in a way that can also increase practice profitability and efficiency. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Brooke Simons McIntyre, and I have been a part of orthodontics since birth. I have a really unique perspective on the orthodontic field. Not only do I understand the industry from a practice owner and management aspect, but I also have experience as an employee in essentially every team position as well. This has given me the ability to really see what makes a practice successful, not just from an owner and doctor's perspective, but also from an employee's perspective, which at times the two can define practice success very differently. I am now a practice integration consultant with OrthoExcel Technologies, and I'm really excited to be gaining perspective from the product side of the industry and how we in the product world can enhance the practice and the lives of orthodontists around the world with what we can provide and the solutions that we can offer. Well, how do you get into orthodontics at birth? Well, you make sure you're the offspring of an orthodontist, of course. My dad, Dr. Mark Simons, practices in Seattle, Washington, where I began my orthodontic journey as both a patient, employee, and a consultant for the past 29 years. Watching and participating early in a highly successful quality practice makes the thought of leaving orthodontics pretty much impossible. And the love of my parents, my mom is also a financial coordinator and bookkeeper and has been there for over 30 years. But the love that they have for their patients, their employees, and their practice made me realize that orthodontics is the place to be. My dad still practices today, not because he has to, but because he genuinely loves what he does. And I'm convinced that this is what keeps him so freakishly young looking for a 75-year-old man. This was last year at my wedding, and I just have to say thank you to both my parents for sharing your love for orthodontics with me and the contributions that you've made to the orthodontic community. It really inspires me to continue to help grow this amazing profession. After growing up in Seattle, I was ready for some permanent sunshine. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona after high school. I accepted an athletic scholarship at Arizona State University to play on the women's soccer team, and I've been living in Phoenix here ever since. I originally planned to move home after college, but I met a boy, and he talked me into sticking around. Lucas and I were married last year, and he's a building contractor in the Phoenix area. And he actually just finished his own accelerated orthodontic treatment because, well, you can't really be a part of an orthodontic family without a perfect smile, so he's got his now. Through college and afterward, I worked in other orthodontic practices. I took on roles from clinical lead to TC and marketing and so on. Prior to working with OrthoExcel, I most recently was the practice manager for Dr. Stuart Frost in Mesa, Arizona, along with managing an all-star practice and working with one of the most influential orthodontists in today's industry. I was also given the opportunity to lecture at multiple study club meetings, product meetings, continuing education events, and my focus was on practice management and how to make your practice successful, efficient, and most importantly, enjoyable. Isn't that the biggest reason that doctors choose to be orthodontists today? I firmly believe that. And there's no question that a successful orthodontic practice can be highly profitable, which is why the average median of orthodontists ranks in the top 10 every year for best paying jobs. Now, we all like making money, but how many doctors get to say that they have almost zero true emergencies? No, wire clips and broken brackets don't count as emergencies. And they have patients that are consistently happy and even excited to be a part of the practice. This makes being a doctor fun. And when you're able to go to work every day and have happy patients, financial stability, and work-life balance, we become blessed with an excellent quality of life. And I firmly believe that quality of life is the true definition of success. Of course, I'm making an orthodontist sound like a fluffy cakewalk. Let's talk about some of the factors that are constantly trying to turn that cakewalk into running a marathon with weights on our shoes. There are three main factors that affect any given market at any given time: social, economical, and technological. From a social standpoint in today's world, we want things that are convenient, and we want it now. We are also a society that's not getting any tougher. We are also a society that's not getting any younger. We are also a society that's not getting any smarter. We are also a society that's not getting any better. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We are also a society that's not getting any stronger. We We want to be comfortable, and we'll do anything to keep ourselves and our families from feeling any pain. And orthodontics is no different. No patient comes in and asks for slower treatment or longer treatment, or if they can have more discomfort. Another major factor that our society struggles with is we look at orthodontics with really negative eyes. And this is a major barrier that we will probably always continue to struggle with. But what do you hear? First and foremost, the first thing I always hear is it's expensive. Orthodontics is perceived as costly to parents that are looking to begin treatment on either children or themselves. Braces or aligners are considered uncool. The movies and TV are always portraying people that wear braces as the nerd or the weird person. And then you have the patients that actually did come into your office and all they do is complain about all the things that happened in the orthodontic office. You know, it's uncomfortable, I was sore, I have to wear retainers the rest of my life, it always takes longer than they say it is. You know, these are all things that a potential patient hears even before they come in for their initial exam. And we already have these social barriers in place before the patient walks in the door. The good news is that orthodontics has been positioned as a rite of passage for adolescents, and we're continually grabbing more and more of that white space adult market as we develop faster, more aesthetic treatment options. We also get to sit on the fact that one of the most influential pieces of our overall appearance is our smile. So at the end of the day, if a patient wants straight teeth, they're going to sacrifice their time and the possibility of looking uncool to get what they want. I know the first thing I look at when I meet someone is their teeth, and I'm sure most of you are the same way as well. So that's always something to consider. So, you know, we do have some social barriers stacked against us, but what industry doesn't? Economical factors are another element that is no mystery to most orthodontists. There are more orthodontists and general dentists providing orthodontics every day. That number is only set to rise. Let's not forget insurance companies that are constantly trying to drive lower treatment fees for in-network practices. And then you put together all of the competition that you have, which probably gives you an instant headache to think about. Then you start looking at your dreaded overhead, and it's constantly rising in order to have the latest technology and retain a strong, loyal team. But we need these technological advances in order to practice efficiently and offer superior patient care. And we need that strong staff to uphold that service in order to remain competitive. I love seeing all the exciting technology that evolves our industry as well. Every new development, it improves that social stigma that we have embedded into our patients' minds, and it helps break down those social barriers that we have really little control over at this time. We have new management software, new imaging and treatment planning tools, and these are transforming our ability to be more predictable and more efficient. We're advancing our bracket and aligner technology every day, and it's constantly improving. Our invisible options are becoming easier to work with as orthodontists, so we're more open to using them. And currently, the hot topic in orthodontic technology and our main focus today is without a doubt accelerated orthodontics. There are multiple accelerated options that can be incorporated into an orthodontic treatment, from minimally invasive vibratory or light devices to highly invasive options like Wilcodontics and surgical procedures. I believe accelerated orthodontics is one of those technological breakthroughs that's really making its mark on the industry, and it is here to stay. I fully believe in the near future it's not even going to be called accelerated orthodontics. This is just going to be orthodontics. Accelerated orthodontics it's solving the age-old problem of how to make treatment faster, but the majority of orthodontic practices really struggle to successfully integrate this new and exciting technology. Many offices that I consult with want to utilize accelerated orthodontics, but they're just not willing to make the few key changes that are essential to properly evolve and make adjustments in the practice in order to better serve our patients. And it's also going to help us become more profitable. So the question isn't if, but how. How do I do this, and how do I quickly and successfully integrate accelerated orthodontics into my own practice in order to take advantage of the benefits of what accelerated orthodontics can do? There's a really short window of time right now to be ahead of the industry, which is going to work to your advantage. And I'm here to share what tools you can use to utilize and how to make them work effectively in your practice. So what should we use? I like to think of it this way. If I came into your practice and I told you that I could help you enhance your patient experience by making your patient's treatment faster and more comfortable, I would hope 100% of you would say, yes, help me now. Now, what if I was to tell you that I could help you reduce your overhead and increase your profitability at the same time? All I can say is that you better be begging me for this solution, or we're going to need to discuss your business strategy. And I'm not going to make you beg, and I'm sure you guys probably already know the answer, which of course is Accellident. Why do I choose Accellident? I'm very much a fan of Accellident, not just because I work there, but one of the reasons that I chose to come and work with OrthoExcel and Accellident was because of the positive experiences I witnessed from patients when I was working in the practice, as well as the positive feedback I've received from many of the doctors that I interact with. And to top it off, when you put the facts to paper, it just makes sense. Accellident is the obvious choice for accelerated treatment. Keep in mind, this is the only product today that's doing all of the things that I'm about to list here. 1, it's proven by the FDA to accelerate orthodontic treatment up to 50% with both brackets and aligners. Doctors report that they're able to achieve more predictable treatment outcomes. This is huge for practice efficiency. A peer-reviewed randomized controlled trial that was recently published in the Angle Orthodontics magazine reported reduced discomfort associated with orthodontic tooth movement up to 75%. You think of those TLC patients where their mom is hovering over the chair, holding their hand. What kind of patient would you not want to have with that? Accellident can also reduce the number of orthodontic appointments and doctor chair time, and that is by eliminating the total number of patient visits. And we're going to discuss how to do this in more detail shortly. Accellident has Class 2 FDA clearance for medical device. This proves its efficacy and, most importantly, its safety. And I take really great pride in working for a company that protects its doctors and their patients and eliminates your practice risk by taking the right steps to ensure a product is safe and does what it says that it can do. And we only back that up with our FDA clearance, and even more by providing numerous clinical studies and supporting research. And we're always actively growing this database of research to continue to prove and reinforce Accellident's effectiveness. My favorite thing about Accellident is our dedicated practice support team. This is our team that ensures successful integration of Accellident, and this is actually what I get to do every day. And our sole purpose on this team is to make Accellident in your office simple and seamless. And each one of our practice integration consultants has backgrounds in orthodontics and consulting, and they will come in and customize tried and true methods to your practice to make accelerated orthodontics just a slam dunk for you. So here's another one of my big reasons for my love of Accellident. These are just a few of my friends that are using or have used Accellident and they were dumb enough to send me pictures or Snapchats and didn't think I'd do anything with them. But the people in these pictures, it's very interesting to me. They're all between the ages of 25 and 32, and they're in very important times in their lives professionally. So orthodontics is not only a sore aesthetically, but time-wise as well. And this is a really great representation of the white space in the orthodontic market that aesthetic options paired with Accellident can attract. These are young professionals that value their appearance, and they're willing to pay to make it happen as fast as humanly possible. And these are the patients that can be your biggest advocates to your practice. Let's jump into some key integration points that I think are really crucial to implementing Accellident. I'm going to start with the doctor's role and work through some essential team roles in the clinic, and then with your marketing team and with your admin team as well. The first most important step to integrating Accellident is obviously the doctor's role. Accellident will accelerate tooth movement, but in order to reap the benefits of those results, the doctor needs to make some changes in their treatment plan and the way that the case is managed. Now keep in mind, I'm not a doctor. This is just what numerous orthodontists that are using Accellident have reported, and they're treating Accellident's patients this way. And I also believe, as a former practice manager, that this is the most practical and profitable way to incorporate Accellident into your office. Some simply say that seeing the patient faster and in faster increments or sooner is the answer to accelerated treatment. And this is definitely a possibility. But from a practice manager's perspective, all I hear is that we have to see patients sooner. And any busy practice's scheduling coordinator is going to laugh at you if you come in and suggest trying to fit patients into the schedule sooner because, and I hear this every time, quote unquote, we can't even fit the patients that we're seeing in the normal interval into the schedule, nonetheless see them sooner. I believe the best way to utilize the full benefits of what Accelerant can do is to adjust your treatment plan and find ways to eliminate appointments, because when we can reduce the total number of appointments the patient has, we can reduce practice overhead and we can increase our per appointment profitability, which is huge. Let's start with aligners. This is pretty straightforward. It doesn't require much alteration. I recommend keeping your appointment intervals the same as what you're currently doing and simply delivering twice the amount of trays. For example, let's say our standard aligner treatment, we usually will deliver 4 aligners at a time and we see a patient back in 8 weeks, which means the patient's wearing their aligners every 14 days. For our Accelerant patients, we're simply going to deliver 8 trays and see them back in that same 8-week time span. So if a patient were to have, say, 24 total aligners, we would see them for a total of 3 appointments instead of the standard 6. This is huge for our per appointment profitability, and it's really quantifiable on our books to see tangible results for how we can be more profitable. Now, I will stress that when you are delivering a larger quantity of aligners at one time, it's key that the patient understands the importance of compliance as well as what tracking is and what a really good tracking aligner looks like to make sure that they're successful, because you don't want them coming back with poorly fitting trays, because that's going to hurt your efficiency as well by having to do unnecessary refinements. Brackets are not as straightforward because every doctor differs with their sequencing and case management even when they're using the same bracket system. However, if you fine-tune that accelerated bracket treatment to reduce the maximum number of appointments, this can be a huge benefit to your practice because the majority of orthodontics is done using brackets in most offices. So typically when I have this conversation with a doctor, I'm starting with asking, doctor, what's your typical arch wire sequence from start to finish? What is your typical appointment sequence from start to finish? Do you have bracket engagement appointments or retie appointments? As I'm asking these questions, I'm gathering information on where we can start to eliminate some of the appointments that Accelerant can potentially make redundant. This is just an example of an arch wire sequence that I see a lot. I really encourage you to do this exercise with your own arch wire / appointment sequence and start finding appointments that you can eliminate. As you can see in this particular sequence, we've hypothetically, we've eliminated 3 appointments with the accelerated treatment plan, and we've been able to keep our intervals the same. Now, just so you know, that the BE stands for bracket engagement or a retie appointment there in week 4. And this is not representing any of the finishing arch wire appointments besides the initial placement of that final wire. This is just an example of how you get to that final stage. Once the doctor has a good idea of how he or she is going to adjust their treatment plans, we can start working on team integration. And in my opinion, I think the clinical team is by far the most important team when it comes to integration of Accelerant. And I feel that way because of this particular statistic. 50% of Accelerant users don't elect to use it until after they begin their orthodontic treatment. And why is this? Many patients are presented Accelerant as an option in the TC room, so many don't elect to use it if there's an additional cost added to the treatment plan because they want their fees to just be as low as possible at that point in time because they're already making a large orthodontic investment. But all of a sudden, they'll get their braces placed or they get their aligners delivered and they feel what it's like to have their appliances on, and all of a sudden it becomes real and they're thinking, wow, I need to get out of this as soon as possible. This doesn't feel good. And this is a perfect opportunity to remind patients that you're able to offer them an option to go faster, more comfortably. And the reason I feel very strongly that the clinical team is what can make or break the success of Accelerant is for a few couple of reasons. First, they're the largest team typically in most offices, and they tend to be the most resistant to change or added tasks. They really drive the patient excitement in the office, You may notice this, when your clinical team is excited about something, your patients are excited about it. And they really drive that excitement because they're the ones that are interacting in the fun environment. They're also the first people to tell me that, oh, I'm not a salesperson, I don't talk about products. And it's mostly because they feel like they're having to push a product onto a patient instead of offer them a solution for a treatment. Finally, most clinical teams, I hear this every day. They say, I'm already maxed out. I'm already too busy. I can't add anything to my busy day. And this is whether they're seeing 2 patients or 200 patients. It's just the mentality of the way that they see patients, which is it's not a bad thing. It's just a fact. So in order to get them feeling good about discussing Accelerant or any product for that matter, we need to present some seamless ways to integrate in order to make them feel at ease. And that first step is let's get them involved. First, get them excited. Get them excited about what they can do for their patients and help them to see how it can benefit every patient that walks in the door. In order for the team to be able to talk about Accelerant, they also have to be well educated on the product, how to use it, how to explain it, how it works. And we're going to talk more about that momentarily. I'm a big fan of training your team using situational scripting, and this ensures consistent messaging throughout the team. One of the great ways to utilize this is to pick 1 or 2 specific sentences that you're wanting to add to conversations that assistants are already having with patients. For example, when discussing oral hygiene on initial aligner delivery or initial bondings, add a short clause to your message. As you're going into comfort, saying you can use warm saltwater rinses, you can take Tylenol, or you can chew sugarless gum for discomfort. I know you're not using Accelerant, but just so you know, it's available anytime throughout treatment to reduce your treatment time up to 50% and reduce any discomfort you may have up to 75%. Just adding that one sentence can not only make the clinical team feel good about talking about it, but it also re-emphasizes what's available in your practice. Anything that needs patient compliance requires thoughtful coaching. Remember, each clinical team member needs to be confident teaching the patient and the parent on how to use the device as well as when to use the device. Really challenge the patient on when they're going to use it and have that conversation with them so that when they go home, they've already set it in their head that they're going to use it either right before bed or maybe they're going to use it in the car on the way to school or work in the morning. Make sure they've given you that commitment of when they're going to use it because it just further sets them up for success. Let's talk more about how we can get educated so that we can talk more comfortably about Accelerant. Accelerant has really great resources that are great for team members to get better educated, and it's to make it a way that's easy to relate to patients. I always recommend reading the How It Works Accelerant patient brochure. This brochure has excellent patient terminology, and it's also a great way to get familiar with what Accelerant is, the science, how it works, and how to effectively explain it to patients in terminology they'll understand. And these brochures are available to anybody who wants to offer Accelerant, as well as I believe it comes with your first order as well. There's also a FAQ sheet available, which I really like as well because it asks those questions that come up really frequently. And it's important to be familiar with these questions to be able to answer them comfortably with your patient. Finally, use videos. Accelerant has great videos that have been created for your benefit. These videos are great for both patient education as well as for staff education. And these videos are available on the Accelerant website and YouTube as well. And I recommend putting these videos on your desktop or your iPad so that they can easily be shared. The use and care video is really, really great just for teaching how to coach patients on how to use it. So the staff has gained some excitement about being able to offer Accelerant, and now they understand how it works. They can explain it to patients with ease. Now we need to create some staff accountability and make sure they understand that they're required to integrate Accelerant in a way that's comfortable in their daily conversations. So again, use situational scripting to make sure that the message is universal throughout your office, similar to that oral hygiene example that I gave. I really think that the first 3 appointments a patient has in the clinic are the best times to bring it up. So that would be the initial delivery of aligners, the initial bonding, and then the first 2 adjustment or delivery visits after that. Along with scripting, I love utilizing appointment checklists. They make sure that all topics are covered so that you can make sure every patient is getting the same message. And I love this as both a clinical assistant and a practice manager because it just makes sure that you're covering all of your bases with what you need to be talking to your patients about. I also recommend anyone on your team, clinical or otherwise, that's in orthodontic treatment or that's going to be going into orthodontic treatment, that they use Excelodent for themselves. This is the best possible way to get people comfortable with Excelodent. Every single staff member that I've spoken to that's used it for themselves is an avid believer of what Excelodent can do, and it's also helping them educate themselves on what it is and how it works and how it makes them feel, and it makes it really easy to talk to patients about it. And OrthoExcel recently came out with some new staff pricing that's really, really attractive. This should be a no-brainer for doctors to feel good about providing team members with Excelodents. And your sales rep can give you more information on that opportunity. I would reach out to them and hear more about it because it's a great way to get it integrated into your office. Remember, compliance coaching is key. Along with educating the patient on how to use Excelodent, it's important to constantly be reminding patients of the importance of use. I really recommend also logging Excelodent compliance the same way you would log elastic wear or aligner wear. This protects your practice and it also helps a doctor better manage his accelerated cases. Finally, reward your patients. A great way to accurately track compliance is by utilizing a fast track report. This can be accessed by plugging the device into any computer USB port. So reward the patient with either your rewards point system or gift cards when they bring their device in with them, or print their fast track report and bring it in with them to appointments. This is just going to help you track their compliance better and make sure that they're tracking properly. Before we move on to marketing, I just want to remind all of my clinical team, it isn't our job in the clinic to be salesmen, but it is our job to educate our patients for success and let them know what our practice is able to provide to give them the best possible orthodontic experience. We're not salespeople, we're educators. And the more you educate and the more you let a patient know what's available in your practice, the more they're going to appreciate that. If our team is excited, educated, and confident, they're not only going to be creating successful patients, but they're going to be an excellent referral source. That's probably, they're going to be able to say that your practice was not only able to do it faster, but more comfortably. And one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Dwight Damon, he says, "We must constantly work to create ambassadors of our practice. Each patient interaction is an opportunity to build a relationship and a referring patient." And that is by far the best form of marketing that we can have, and it's the most cost effective. Now, we could talk about marketing for hours, but I want to offer just a few marketing resources that I really like that Excelodent provides, as well as some outside ideas that you can couple with those resources just to help further differentiate your practice. Now, there's way more resources that Excelodent has to offer than this, and your sales rep or integration consultant can go into more detail of what those are, but these are just a few of my favorites. Great way to launch Excelodent in your practice is we have customizable eBlast templates that can be sent out to your patient database. This is a great, again, great way to launch Excelodent and also run promotions in your office. This is a mass email that goes out to your patients and just kind of helps bridge the communication with your patients to let them know what's available. We have pop-up banners and printed materials that help create really nice visual content inside the office, as well as working demo units and display units to help patients get a live idea of what Excelodent is, what it does, how it feels. One of the things I really love to do, and it's really fun to be a part of, is we do offer the ability to give CE events to your referring doctors and general dentists, and it's really fun to see the excitement that the general dentists get when they see what you're providing their patients and just what you're doing to help make orthodontics easier, more hygienic, and better for their patients. Accelerant also offers some special programs to help you differentiate your practice, and I really encourage you to reach out to your sales rep or integration consultant to learn more about these. These are solutions to your practice and your patients, and these are programs that nobody else in the orthodontic industry is offering, and this is just ways that we're trying to better ourselves as a company and really stand out and make Accelerant something that you are proud to offer. Now these next few slides, we're going to go over some really cool tools that I like using, and these can be used in combination with the resources that Accelerant already has. My first and probably favorite tool is canva.com. This is a free, easy-to-use website, and it helps you create really aesthetic, visually stimulating designs, and you can use it for everything from social media and web marketing to large printed materials, and the list goes on. If you haven't seen this site yet, I recommend checking it out. Tell your marketing person about it. I guarantee you they are going to love it. On the left-hand corner there, you'll see I threw that together maybe 5 minutes max. And it's something that is designed to make your life easy and make your messaging universal throughout your office when it comes to marketing content. Now, I know many of you have seen this before, but I can't stress enough how much of a difference I feel personal care cards make. It adds that extra level of customer service and value to patients, and patients all love getting mail. At Dr. Frost's office, we required each team member to send at least one care card per patient day. It's also a great way to remind patients that they can use Accelerant at any time in treatment, especially if you're sending a care card right at the beginning of treatment. The business cards shown there are from Accelerant. I actually recommend making your own on canva.com, and that way you can personalize it to your practice. And then you can order them from like a low-cost print website, something like Print Runner or Vistaprint, and that way you have something personalized to your own office. I also love the My Favorite Things list of different products that your office has. To make treatment easier or more enjoyable. And this gets given out at either the initial bonding or the initial delivery. And I loved having this because I could go through just some of the quick bullet points of some cool products that we had in the office that may help a patient have better treatment experiences. And of course, Accelerant was on there. Now, I love Patient Rewards Hub. But if you're looking for something different or something outside of the box, I'm a huge fan of apps like Spot On, Belly, or Foursquare. These are app-based rewards programs, and they're super simplified. And they also work in conjunction with other local businesses, so it kind of gives that local business flair, which I really like. And if you're looking to implement a rewards program in your practice, I would definitely explore these options as well as Patient Rewards Hub. But this is just something different and outside the box that I've seen practices use and really enjoy. Snapchat. I'm sure you've all heard of it. You may not know this. Snapchat has over 100 million daily active users, and they get over 6 billion video views per day. That means every single patient, essentially every one of your patients, including a lot of adults, are using it, and you should be too. Personal Snapchats are really good. It's a great way to connect to your patients on a more obviously personal level, but a practice Snapchat is my favorite because it's an opportunity to show all the fun things that go on in your practice. And you can do it more frequently than you can with a Facebook or an Instagram because you can post multiple videos a day and have it not be quite as much of a faux pas like it is on Facebook or Instagram. You can also create your own geo filters that will show up when patients are at your office. This one right here that I made for Miss Lindsay, we just made one really quickly, and I did it on canva.com, and I did what's called a geotag, and that's how you get that filter to show up at your practice only. And I just did that really quickly where she was at so that I could show you guys an example of what you could do. But they're very affordable, and patients love having something unique, and it's something that they can post on their Snapchat when they're in your practice. So that's a great way to have some outside the box marketing. Finally, I wanted to share a tool on Facebook that some people may not be aware of. You know the adage, keep your friends close and keep your competition closer. This is exactly what this feature on Facebook can do. Under the Page Insights tab on your fan page at the very bottom, there's a section that's called Pages to Watch. What you'll do is you can enter in your biggest competitors' Facebook pages so that you can easily monitor their activity and what they're doing. And I like this just because it can help keep an upper hand in what you post on social media, and it keeps you informed of what they're doing so that you can better stand out from them and also differentiate yourselves to add value to your service and what you're offering in your practice. And you'll notice on there, I know it's probably fairly small, but it just shows a general overview of what they're doing for that week. So how many total page likes they have, what their engagement is from the week before. Is it up or is it down? How many posts they've posted that week? How engaged their users are that week? So it's a really good way to kind of keep track in an easy to view way. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with the front office teams since there's already some really stellar webinars on orthoexcellearning.com that go over these front office integration processes really well, but I do want to touch on a few key points. The front desk has a really great opportunity when checking patients out for appointments by simply asking, are you accelerating your treatment? This does two things. First, it triggers a patient that may not know about your Accelerant option to learn more. And second, it ensures that all admin tasks are taken care of properly for those patients that are using Accelerant, such as making sure they're properly tagged as Accelerant patients or making sure that they're being scheduled properly. The scheduling coordinator and admin team should also be looking for key phrases during phone calls that Accelerant may offer a solution to. Patient problems such as discomfort, convenience, maybe they're burnt out from treatment and they're calling to complain. This is just another way that you can offer solutions to your patients. And just like the clinic, you need to do your homework, get comfortable with presenting what Accelerant is, how it works, and how to use it. Because you never know what patient may be interested, and the last thing you want is to not share it with a patient and have them come back and say, you never told me about this, and be upset about it. Treatment coordinators. My treatment coordinators, you are essential to the well-being of the practice, and I really wish that I could give you some more attention today, but if you're looking for more information on specific TC processes, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I love having these conversations. I also recommend checking out Miss Sarah Keller's webinar on orthoexcellearning.com. It's called Increasing Case Acceptance with Accelerated Orthodontics. This is a really good resource, and it has tips that I use not only to coach TCs, but I actually use them myself when I was a TC as well. So I love that webinar, and it's a great resource to learn a little bit more about the TC process. The three big tips that I do want to point out are: one, present Accelerant to every patient. Again, you never know who may be interested. Get to know your patient and their lifestyle so you can be equipped with solutions to that lifestyle that they live. How can it benefit them? Some patients may not care that their child is having faster treatment, but they very well may care that they need convenience of coming to the office, or they want their son or daughter to be more comfortable. So ask good questions and find the answers so that you can add value to your overall presentation and make Accelerant positioned in a way that makes them value it. I also think Accelerant working demo units are a key component when presenting to patients. This gives them the opportunity to feel it, see it, hold it. Patients are usually really surprised how gentle it is, and they're excited to know it's not like having a jackhammer in their mouth for 20 minutes. It's actually very soothing, and it's very gentle. So as we're going through all these steps, I just want to remind everyone again, why are we using Accelerant? Why are we driving Accelerant into our patients' hands and wanting as many patients as possible using it? Remember, not only do your patients get a superior patient experience with Accelerant, but your practice also can have reduced overhead and increased profit per appointment. So the more appointments we have, or the more patients we have in Accelerant, the more we reap those benefits, and most importantly, the happier our patients are. The financial coordinator. The financial coordinator's job is to make sure that we are breaking down financial barriers for patients to make our treatment affordable. The most successful practices today create financial arrangements that are 1, flexible, 2, practical, and 3, set the patient and the practice up for success. This means that flexible financing is a must-have in my opinion. Flexible financing is a conversation that I have almost every day with practices. Doctors really fear increasing their fees either for adding Accelerant or just because they feel like they're not getting paid what they're worth, because if they do add to their fees, they feel that patients are going to run away and never come back. Most would rather stay safe and be in the competitive range of what everybody in the area is doing, even though the service you may be providing is superior to the guy down the street. The most successful practices that I know charge a premium for their treatment because they're offering a superior service and a superior result. And I've seen offices that comfortably charge easily $2,000 more than their competition, and they continue to grow their practice with flying colors. The key is making that premium treatment price affordable, because at the end of the day, patients don't care as much about the total cost as they care about affordability. The standard old school way of creating payment plans, I want to compare this from what I'm going to call the old model and the flexible model. So the old model, I know many of you may still use it today, but I'm going to really encourage you to change this model to help make your patients more happy. We would ask for a 25% down payment when signing the contract before appliances are placed. Then you pay equal monthly payments for the length and treatment. You would typically, patients used to send a check and a payment booklet stub. Stub booklet was sent with them, so they would mail in their check every month. And then you hold the patient hostage until their balance is paid in full at the end of treatment, and their braces don't come off until that balance is paid in full. Now, there are some pros to this model. One, you do get some substantial equity in the account at the down payment, which is covering your costs, and all of the payments are going to be completed by the time the braces come off. But the cons outweigh the pros substantially. This model is unaffordable to, the majority of families today. Say for example, we were to have the average treatment fees around $5,500 in the United States. So if we were to have a $5,500 treatment, this means that a 25% down payment is going to be around $1,300. And say they have an 18-month treatment, their monthly payments are going to be around $230. This is not affordable to very many patients. And also, when you hold a patient hostage, not only is it wasting valuable dollars by having them in for unnecessary appointments, but it's a surefire way to make a patient frustrated and angry. The flexible model, charge what you're worth. Don't be afraid to raise your fees. You don't have to be what the same price is for the guy down the street. You just have to place value in the treatment that you're presenting. When value outweighs the cost, conversion is simple. The cost will not matter. Create a custom payment plan that's affordable to the patient. Don't be afraid to finance past treatment time in order to make premium treatment affordable. The average affordable down payment is around $500, and your goal should be to get their monthly payments under $200 a month. This means more than likely you're going to have to extend past treatment time. But if you can do this for your patients, your acceptance rate is going to skyrocket. Custom payments plans also remove a patient's association with payments from months in treatment. It allows them to focus on the fact that they're paying for a result, not how many months it takes to get that result. What are the pros? Some great pros of flexible financing. One, you make more expensive treatment affordable and available to more families. So you can let go of holding patients in treatment until their payments are completed. It's a very freeing feeling when a practice can do that, and I can say that from personal experience. Now there are some cons, and the cons that I do see is that you do need to have a strong financial coordinator who's open to change. Your practice is opening itself to some additional risk, so you need to have somebody who's strong in that position that's going to protect your practice as well as help your patients. Now, I have specific systems that I feel make flexible / extended financing a win-win situation for both the practice and the patient. And this is part of, this is just some of what our practice integration consulting team helps practices to succeed with. So it's a great option for you should you decide to implement accelerated orthodontics, that we can have that conversation with you. Now, if you feel that you're taking on too much additional risk with a flexible financing model, either based off the staff that you have or just the current financial health of your practice, but you still want to offer the benefits of flexible financing to your patients, good news, there's some really great tools to help you eliminate that risk and ensure that you're successful. Now, I know there's a lot of third-party or other financing companies, but I really can only speak to the programs that I have personally used, which is OrthoFi and OrthoBank. These are both awesome companies that are going beyond, they go above and beyond to help you get more yeses in your practice in a really easy way. So if you're interested in better incorporating flexible financing into your practice, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I really enjoy having, again, I love these conversations, and I'm more than willing to help you devise a plan or put you in the right direction to find those answers. I also recommend doing demos with both OrthoFi and OrthoBank. Both have great benefits. You kind of have to decide which option is the best fit for your practice. OrthoFi has everything from the new patient process all the way through to financing. OrthoBank has some really exceptional tools as well that you're able to pick and choose from to make for what your practice needs. Here are a few final tips before we open up for some Q&A time. First, be clear on each team member's role when you're incorporating accelerated orthodontics. This includes the doctor as well. The more your staff understands how important they are to success of accelerated treatment, the faster those changes can happen and the more effectively they can happen. Accelerant works in conjunction with all treatment modalities. If you're already using specialty brackets and appliances to decrease treatment times, just remember, whatever you're already doing, Accelerant can only enhance that acceleration by stimulating the biological response. Hard cases are especially fun with Accelerant, and I have seen some really cool ones. Doctors that are currently using Accelerant in their practices are reporting more predictable outcomes. This is huge. So take your most challenging cases and include Accelerant in their treatment fees. This is going to help your case management, it's going to reduce appointments, and it's going to ensure that these tough cases aren't killing your efficiency. If we can be more predictable, we can be more profitable.